I came because I thought this is a place that really had nothing but potential. We knew that something was going to happen in biology in a big way, and we had to be prepared for it. We had to get ready for it. Because museum science had fallen very bad times in the 50s and 60s. They were considered to be really, really old-fashioned. And what was the new hot stuff was all biochemistry and molecular biology. We had to modernize or we would have been killed. And so we did.
Suddenly this wonderful opportunity dropped in everyone's lap, and they grabbed it and ran with it. And the new people that came on board, Waite, Jim Patton, Ned Johnson, I mean, they grabbed the opportunities of DNA.
You realize that you can only go so far with one particular technique, and if there's another technique that's out there that'll help you go further, then you do it.
We never thought you could get DNA sequences out of these dried mammal skins that are 100 years old, so that you can look at changes, genetic changes over the course of time.
This is the only place I know whose mission is to plan for the future.
Joseph Grinnell saw well into the future.
Grinnell's words from 1908, 1912 are still providing the major focus for us.
Saw that we needed to document the condition of vertebrate life at this time as thoroughly as we could and at intervals over time.
It's not just to do what's here and now, but we really are trying to make assessments of what's going on in the world through time.
This whole idea of a Grinnell project, of which the Yosemite is part of it, is Craig Martz's, idea. He's the one who saw this, whereas none of us that were here and had been here for 30 years or more saw it. And that is to use the existing database that was accumulated a century or less ago, that is specimen-based in the collections, to ask questions about what's been the nature of change over the past century and what can that tell us about what's likely to come.
So rather than speculating about effects of climate change, we can take a comprehensive look at the small mammal and avian communities and get precise information on how ranges have changed over 100 years with warming and land use change. We can go further, we can look at how the phenotypes have changed, how have the genetics changed. We can get DNA out of the skins. And we can only do this because Grinnell collected so extensively.
He had it right 100 years ago, that this material that's here, these field notes in this room, those dried up old mice in the cases, and those pickled amphibians and reptiles represent this treasure. That song of Joni Mitchell's, we don't know what we have until it's gone. We know what we have now because of what's sitting in these cases and in those bookshelves, those photographs and all that material.
It will be observed then that our efforts are not merely to accumulate as great a mass of animal remains as possible. On the contrary, we are expending even more time in rendering what we do obtain as permanently valuable as we know how. This value will not, however, be realized until the lapse of many years, possibly a century. And this is that the student of the future will have access to the original record of faunal conditions in California and the West, wherever we now work. That was Joseph Grinnell writing in 1910.